Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Houston Sports. Back in the video today, the Cincinnati Bengals have released quarterback A.J. McCarron, who was quarterback for them from 2015 to 2017. Had a lot of success in the XFL with, I can't remember who he was playing with in the XFL, but he had a lot of success in the XFL, which landed him to sign with the Cincinnati Bengals after Joe Burrow got hurt. Became the backup to Jake Browning once we saw Joe Burrow go out for the rest of the season with a season-ending surgery with Cincinnati. And the reason why he's being cut is because next season Joe Burrow will be healthy, and I don't know who will be the backup quarterback because Browning is a free agent. We'll see if Cincinnati brings him back. I actually think it would be a very smart move for Cincinnati to re-sign Jake Browning. I think Jake Browning is a free agent, knowing what he did with Cincinnati when Joe Burrow got hurt. I'm actually really excited to see where he ends up. I think that's a name, especially throughout the quarterbacks in free agency. I'm going to be keeping a close eye to see where he ends up. And I think I'm not going to say most likely, but I think there's a good chance he ends up back in Cincinnati. But I think with Joe Burrow coming back, I think obviously they had no plans for A.J. McCarron to be the backup quarterback. Even if Jake Browning doesn't come back, I think they want someone to be I think he was the backup while Jake Browning was the starter. But now that Joe Burrow's going to be back, I think the backup for Cincinnati next year is going to either be Jake Browning or it's going to be somebody else. McCarron only played in 2 games. He only threw 5 He only made 5 pass attempts with 4 for 5 though, 19 passing yards. So not bad for McCarron, but I wish we would have maybe get to see more time with A.J. McCarron. He did, play. Last time we really saw him get to play was actually with my favorite team, the Houston Texans, 2020 and 2019 with the Texans. He played 2 games with 1 start with the Texans in 2019 with an 0-1 record with the Texans with 21 for 37, 225 passing yards, threw 1 interception. But also that year, he did run for 1 touchdown against the Titans. I remember that. That was the last game of the season. He ran for 43 rushing yards in that game and had a touchdown. So that's what A.J. McCarron. That's the last time he played meaningful football was in 2019 when he got a start with the Texans. Back then, last week of the season was week 17. He got a week 17 start with the Texans against the Titans, threw for 225 passing yards, threw an interception, ran for 43 rushing yards, and 1 touchdown. But I think it's very unlikely, but I'd like to see some more from A.J. McCarron. I mean, unless we see a repeat of this previous season where we saw so many quarterbacks get injured, I don't think you will get to see A.J. McCarron, play actual football where it's not the end of the game. Like we saw end of the game situation him throw 4 for 5 for 19 passing yards this season. Like not like that. Like him play actually like where he did with the Texans in 2019, where he gets a start, or we actually get to see him actually play. But I think it's very unlikely, and I really don't want to see next season next season be like what we saw this previous season where so many quarterbacks are injured. I want it to be an entertaining season next year. I think this past season was very good, but I think it could have been a lot better if some potential quarterbacks stay healthy. Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, Kirk Cousins. There's so many other quarterbacks that got injured throughout the season. I think it could have been a better season if some of those guys would have stayed healthy. And I think a lot of things could have been different this year. I think the Bengals and the Vikings, if their quarterbacks stay healthy, are probably in the playoffs. And maybe would have been a threat, but it's something we'll never know. Let me know your thoughts on the Bengals releasing A.J. McCarron in the comment section, and peace out.